Well, hello, young people and those who are young at heart. We are back today for another cuppa with, although I forgot to make my cuppa and actually just have a cup of water. We are here today for a cuppa with Derek Mitchell, and he is here representing the Lyle Gateway community. So he is a community development leader, and he has joined us for a cuppa, and he does have a cuppa. He's not faking it like me. Welcome, Derek.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming and joining us today. So the first question we got to start with is, what is Lyle Gateway and what do you do?
So Lyle Gateway is, in the most basic level, it's a drop-in cafe. So it's in the Lyle Kirk, it's held in the Lyle Kirk Church on Union Street, which is a great big building which doesn't get used for services, so it's becoming more and more of a community centre. But on top of the drop-in cafe aspect of it, we also have table tennis, we've got chair exercises, indoor curling, we have a little kind of book library going on, which doesn't sound a lot when you find out table tennis. It sounds a bit like a youth club, but actually most of our people are retired. I've seen that 90% of them are over 70, and we have on average about 120 people each week coming in.
Wow.
So they're all in, curling, bowling, up playing table tennis. But most importantly, they come along for a chat and a little bit of social, meeting up with people, catching up with their friends, and finding people who have never heard their stories before so they can tell them all over again and again and again. But on top of that, we also host other organisations. So we have Your Voice Inverclyde.
Yeah.
They have workers who come in on a regular basis, and they have a chance to go and meet people in the community they wouldn't normally get to meet, and they offer them support. We also host an organisation called iFit. So they work with predominantly young men coming back out from prison and back into the community. So they have on average about between 5 and 15 people when they come along each week, and they sit down, and it's great because all the older men especially go over and give them advice on how to straighten their lives out. But they kind of take them under their wing, and they look after them a bit as well, which when you've just come back out of prison, there's not many places want to do that. So we've been hosting them for about 5 or 6 years. So it gives a good mix to the people who all come along.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. A couple of years ago now, I happened to be in that building for something else, and Lyle Gateway, the cafe was running, and one of my old school teachers was actually there taking part.
Right.
And she came and chatted to me and then introduced me to another school teacher, a teacher that I hadn't seen since I was in primary school.
Wow.
So it was really interesting getting to connect with them and getting to see that was something that they were kind of choosing to do with their lives. It's great work. Just 120 people coming weekly. That's incredible.
It is incredible. Yes.
So is there an age restriction, or is it kind of open to anybody, or?
It is open to anybody, so there is no age restriction. So currently we meet on a Tuesday and a Thursday.
Okay.
10:30 to 1:30, and that kind of fits with the not working left school age.
Yeah.
Mostly retirees. But yes, we do have people who bring along school kids and things as well, especially during the holidays.
Great.
And it's always good to have kind of younger people come along and take part.
A real mix of generations by the sound of it.
Yes.
So,
we've got 36 volunteers as well who they kind of work over a 2-month basis of coming in. We've got a little team of regulars, and in the last year and a half, we've been encouraging younger volunteers to come in and help out, which is great because it just brings a different dynamic into the space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know, how did Lyle Gateway begin?
So Lyle Gateway grew out of the church, so it grew out of Lyle Kirk. They realised they had these buildings, so they have 3 buildings. But they also realised that typically in the west end of Greenock, there's not a lot of community space. And there is the understanding that, oh, you're in the west end, you've got lots of money, you don't need anything. But really the social spaces in the west end revolve around sports clubs or drinking little spaces. You know, there is, and even at that, there's not that many spaces. And it really requires you to spend quite a bit of money or be kind of quite able to be in like the boating club, cricket club, I suppose there's a rugby in their gown, but there's not really very many spaces where you can come along where you don't have to spend a lot of money. You're welcome. You don't. There's no clique involved in there. So that was identified that there was a need. And again, it doesn't matter if you're perceived to have money. People in these areas still face the same issues that people in other areas, especially as they get older, which is isolation. Just many of our people come along are widows, and so don't actually have meaningful conversation with anybody else. Only on a Tuesday and a Thursday for most of the week. It's only 2 days of the week. So that was identified way back. So that was in 2011. And on the very first week, they had 7 people come along. They were open one day a week. At that point, in 2013, it became a registered charity where it became separate from the church. It became its own independent organisation, which is good in many ways, because even though there's still a lot of Christians doing the work, and still are a lot of Christians doing it, it removed a perceived barrier for some people of it being a church activity. It became more of a community setting. Obviously, it freed up towards funding as well, which would help us kind of grow and implement and get different things in behind there. But yes, it really grew out of identifying there was a need mainly for older people at the time, and they were really looking to address isolation, provide a healthy, hearty, low-cost food for people as well, and just a bit of good chat. Yeah.
So what is that, what you would say is the kind of mission or the heartbeat behind Lyle Gateway, of that tackling that social isolation? What is the heartbeat behind Lyle Gateway?
Yes, I mean, definitely is. It's about reducing isolation. It's about allowing members of our community feel to still be part of a community where they're listened to, they can still share their lives with people. And again, not in a kind of lip service way, but actually with people who are genuinely interested. Everybody who comes in is, and I know lots of places say this, but people when they come and visit us are startled, but just how welcoming people are. If you're sitting on your own, people will just come over and invite you over to their table. Doesn't matter who you are, how many times you've been. There's no higher order of that's my seat, mate. You better remember. There's none of that. People get their way to care for each other, and although we have 36 volunteers, what we also have is the people who come along. You find out that they all call each other during the week and they check in with each other and they make sure everybody's doing okay and they look after each other, as well as our volunteers also doing that. So it goes beyond the Tuesday and the Thursday. It becomes a kind of week-long thing for it. I mean, I know, for instance, on a personal level, my mother-in-law had said that she would quite like to go along, and there was a woman on her street and I mentioned it to her, and then 2 days later that woman just went up to her door, knocked her door and went, "Hello, are you Nan? I heard you want to go to Lyle Gateway. You can come with me."
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and they've developed a little friendship as they go along. But so that's the kind of the heart behind it. But we do also look at poverty and health issues. So as I said, we've been, over the years, we've managed to get some money to get table tennis put in place, and we've got indoor curling and indoor bowls. But also we have chair exercises. So we've got fitness instructors who are fully qualified, who come along from our leisure, and they do a full kind of 40-minute workout with kind of 15, 20 people every Tuesday and Thursday, just to kind of keep people moving. And it's just that whole, I've got a cat, I'm not looking away, my cat's coming over. Yeah, so they come along, and it's more preventative. So the more you can stretch and move, then the longer you be off any kind of physical health issues setting in as well. So yes, that's the heart behind it.
It really does just sound like, in terms of creating a community, that community, although it is fostered in the drop-in cafe and the work that you're doing there, that it's totally going beyond that. It's, you know, permeating people's lives, totally out with that, which I guess for you must be, you know, really rewarding to know that it is making an impact on people out with the times that you're just with them, and to know that you are meeting needs as well. So, because that kind of leads me on to what my next question was for you, which is, what is the most rewarding thing about the work that you're doing at Lyle Gateway?
For me personally, I mean, when I got involved in volunteer work years ago, it was accidental. So I had no plans to go and do it, but I'm really nosy and I love people's stories. And that for me is the driver. It's kept me going through all my volunteer projects. I mean, yes, you're doing good work, but I love to meet people who I would never get to meet any other way.
Yeah.
You know, they just would never come into my life. So I get to meet, as you said, there's lots of retired teachers who belong to Lyle Gateway. There's some retired doctors. I've met a fantastic man called Ernst, who's an architect who travelled across Europe when he was very young, and he's just so knowledgeable about so many different things in life. And I've never have met him before. I've got lots of ex-joiners, shipyard workers. So just all these different people who you get to meet, and it's taking the time to listen to their stories and sharing them. And I find it interesting, and they seem to enjoy sharing them as well. And the incidental thing to that is it's still breaking down isolation. It's still building community and doing all those things. And just when we were speaking about the idea about community, and you were saying how it's fostered, but it's grown in its own way. Last year, for the first time, we had a Christmas dinner on Christmas Day. And prior to it, we had a man who lives alone, but his family, his son, I think he's got 2 sons. He told them that he's not going to spend Christmas Day with them because he's going to spend it with his mates. He dumped his own family and came and had Christmas dinner with us and visited them there.
That's something that he wanted to do. I wonder how his sons felt about it. Ditching them. Oh no, it's amazing. I love hearing that you love hearing people's stories, because we're built for relationships. That's what we as humans are all about, is connecting with one another. So it's you describe yourself as nosy, but do you know what? That's an amazing gift to have, that desire to get to know people, and I'm sure that probably serves you really well in the work that you're doing. I guess my next question is, you've kind of answered it, I suppose, which is, what motivates you to do that work? So
the wages.
The wages. We're not allowed to say that,
It's being in an environment where everybody is genuinely trying to make other people's lives better. Yeah. So I am the only paid employee. So we have a board of 10, we have 36 volunteers. They are genuinely doing this out of the kindness of their heart. Yeah. And then you're part of that team who is working together to try and improve lives for people. We've got a volunteer, Helen, who she won't quite disclose her age, but we think she's in her 90s. Okay. And she is active. She's serving people at the table. She's taking orders, and she goes down and checks. She is a retired nurse, and she phones people in the evening. She just checks in with absolutely everything. I mean, we have 120 people. She checks in with all of them, and wow. She goes in and she ensures that the men get to hospital appointments. And men are very, very apt to ignore health issues. But she kind of gives impromptu health diagnosis, that looks bad, you got a mark on your arm. But she's had a few men who have confided in her about things, and one of them turned out it was kind of early cancer, and so it was quite serious, and she takes a real keen interest in it, and it's just heartwarming to be amongst people who really do care about other people. It's just a nice environment to be in, and there's a warmth in the room as well. People come in, they're genuinely happy to see each other as well. So I mean, it motivates me because it's a good place, it's a good space to be in, and you're surrounded by people who are not like maybe I worked a couple of corporate jobs where people are always talking about becoming line managers or managers and getting bonuses and sales and things, and it's just the environment is just the complete opposite of that, and it's just it's lovely.
Yeah, it is, and it's incredible. And you know, it's lovely to hear that this kind of work is happening in Inverclyde, especially with what the whole world is going through right now, and the need more than ever for us to be connected to other people. So it's amazing that Lyle Gateway is doing this and fostering that community. I suppose for other, I don't know why this the wooden spoon. Yeah,
at least it's a happy face. It could be worse. It could have been a frown you were giving me. Like something a score.
It's a fidget thing. Yeah, So if people want to access the services and the groups that you guys offer, how would they go about that? How would they get connected to you?
Excuse me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's like when somebody asks you a question when you're just about to take a bite of a sandwich and you're like...
The best way to get involved, so if you wanted to access the service, you just turn up. It's as simple as that. You don't need to book in. So as I said, it's Union Street, number 31 Union Street, Lyle Gateway. So you turn up on a Tuesday or a Thursday at 10:30. Presently, the building's closed. We are hoping it's going to open back up again on the 3rd of November. I'll pass you on details later that you can maybe share with people when we're physically open back up again for that. But at the moment, we've made lots of physical changes, so we're hoping to have it open again then. People can email myself, so it's just derek@lylegateway.com. If people are interested in volunteering, that'd be fantastic. I said we have a large number of people who volunteer. We're always looking for more people, especially, I mean, I won't lie, it can be quite hard work if you're serving food down to maybe 60 people. It gets a little bit frantic at times. We can only make 4 toasties at one time in our machine, so you're like, and you're on your feet, so it is quite physical, but it is good. You do get to connect with people. You get just that enjoyment of being a part of something. So if people want to come along and volunteer, get in contact with myself. If you just simply want to pop in for tea, coffee, cake, soup, and just enjoy a bit of chat, have a wee bit of exercise, then come along. It'll be great. Yeah.
That's amazing. And in terms of kind of financial support for the work, is that something that you guys need to generate yourselves? How can people support the activities that are going on at Lyle Gateway?
If somebody wanted to make a cash donation, then they can contact me by email, and I'll set up a conversation with the treasurer. At the moment, we generate profit. We have very, very low cost food, but we still serving the food, but we still do generate profit because we realise we can't just simply be dependent on other people.
Of course.
All the time. It makes the service very vulnerable.
Yes.
So we occasionally go for grants, but it's normally for specific equipment. Yeah. So we've recently had grants for refurbishing. We're probably going to have an ongoing cost for hand gel.
Yes, I think everybody's needing to factor that
in. But if somebody had a genuinely wanted to contribute in any way, then it'd probably be better to have a kind of one-on-one conversation. And then see what they wanted to contribute, and we could tell them exactly how we would spend that money, rather than it being a generic, give me £100 or give me 15,000 please, and I'll go spend your money for you. I mean, we do each year, we do at least 2 day trips as well. So we tend to go to Largs, or we go up to one of the kind of big kind of shopping garden centres around about Christmas and things as well. So I suppose if somebody was interested in making a donation towards that's always welcome. That's something we dig into our profits for. And when I say we make profits, obviously all the profits are returned back into the charity to sustain it. I should just clarify that in case anybody thinks we're buying cars and things on the side.
Of course not. It's inevitable that any work like this, they need funded in some way. So it's good that if people want to get behind you in that way, that the best thing that they can do is get in touch with you directly.
Yeah.
So can you just remind us again of the times and days for people who would want to access your groups or services? To remind us of those, and the date when you think you're starting back again.
So we're hopeful that we will start back on Tuesday, the 3rd of November. We meet presently on a Tuesday and a Thursday. We are 10:30 to 1:30. I will say, however, in the future, we are very hopeful we will have a community garden that will be open 5-7 days a week. So if anybody has any desire or knowledge about gardening, then please get in contact. We're very hopeful we'll get this up and running by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. We have a lovely big space to the side of our building that we can use to grow veg, flowers. We are also going to get a stage out there so people can perform. So if you've got any talents, hopefully next summer we'll be able to all be in a space where we can get out and share them. Also, I should say for young people as well, in the near future, we are hoping to work with another local social enterprise organisation and have paid placements for young people to come in and learn a little bit about catering, but probably more so is actual social interaction, building up skills and things along that way. So we'll keep you informed if we have any placements come up for young people, which could be paid opportunities for your kind of 16, 18-year-olds, 20s. Yes.
That's amazing.
Anything else you'd like?
No, you sound like you've just got a lot going on, which is amazing. I knew a little bit about Lyle Gateway before our conversation, but I've learned so much more today. So I just want to say thank you, Derek, for coming and taking the time to have a cuppa with me. Although I don't know how much of my water cuppa that I've actually drank, because we've been too busy chatting. But Derek, thanks so much for coming and sharing with Inverclyde Youth for Christ and with the people who are viewing our videos. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work that you're doing.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to show some interest in us as well.
Thank you. You take care. Bye.
Bye.